guys, so I started doing poultry farming when I was 27. I'm 32 now, turning 33 this year. So that's what, 5 to 6 years of me doing the same exact thing, which is chicken farming. I mean, from the time you guys started to know me, most probably you only knew me because of chicken farming. And here I am today talking to you guys again about farming, about chicken farming. I mean, I do other things in farming, but again, mainly poultry farming. Now, in today's video, I'm going to be sharing with you this one skill. I wouldn't really say it's a skill, but I would say it's a knowledge thing that if you know and actually implement on your farm, and not only on your farm, in whatever line of business, you're actually going to get rich, yeah? A lot of people actually ask me a lot of times, how have you managed to grow that quickly? How have you managed, to start from 800 chickens and get to, right now we're doing 9,500 chickens on this farm alone in just 5 years. And I'm going to be explaining to you exactly why, because it's not witchcraft, it's not, something unreasonable. It's this one thing. If you implement it very well and very easily, then you can grow and get there very quickly. You see, there is this saying which we used to have in school, where they used to say, never put all your eggs in one basket, yeah? The whole idea of that thing is, if you're carrying all your eggs in one basket, imagine you sleep, or imagine something happens and the basket falls down, you lose all your eggs. So, to reduce the risk, place your eggs in different baskets. When you place your eggs in different baskets, in case one of the baskets breaks, then, you're safe with the other basket. Makes a bit of sense, yeah? But ideally, it's not the thing that works when it does come to the farming world, yeah? For a lot of people, you can easily be tempted, for example, to start a poultry farm, to start a piggery farm, to start a cattle farm, to start a goat farm. You want to start all these things and run them at the same time. When I was starting out, that's exactly what I was going for, yeah? I wanted to start and do all these things at the very same time. Big mistake, big, terrible mistake. I learned that very quickly, and so I decided to, I would say, specialize in something. And so I'm going to be sharing with you a few reasons why specialization is actually what's going to make you, grow and get to the point that you want to get to. Now, I'll tell you something that you probably know or don't know. There are very few people, if any, who actually made wealth through multiple things. This is what usually happens. The guy or one person decides to make their wealth, or they decide to focus on one thing, they make their wealth through one thing, and then they use that money to diversify it into different things. Now, usually by the time you get to know about them, by the time you meet them, they're doing a lot of different things, and they're making money out of them, and then you think that's what actually made them wealth. No, they didn't get there like that. They got there by, paying attention to one particular specific thing, and then after that, they diversified their earnings or whatsoever in very many different things, yeah? And that's what you need to pay attention to. I'm going to be telling you why, yeah? First reason is because growing any skill or knowledge requires time. It requires a lot of time, yeah? I do play the guitar, and I don't play it very well. I mean, I'm okay. I'm okay. I can sing, I can, I'm okay, but I'm not good. I'm not really good, you get? I won't just play all the different licks and everything. You know why? Because I didn't dedicate a lot of time to becoming really good at it. Now, I know people who have dedicated a lot of time to become really good at it, and they have become really good. I think there was once research that said that for you to become really good at something, you need to practice it for at least 10,000 hours. 10,000 hours is a very, very long time, yeah? Now, unfortunately, in the business world of things, there's no time things, yeah? Because, it's just different from a skill. There is time, there is luck, there is, the political environment, the change of everything, there's a change of cost of this. If I'm doing poultry farming, for example, part of what is involved in my success might be, starting my farm when the cost of feed is low and when the price of eggs is high, yeah? I might have a higher chance of succeeding than someone who started the other way around, yeah? So because of that, the time variable of 10,000 hours might not work when it does come to a business, but what doesn't change is the fact that you need a really long time for you to understand what you're doing and for you to become really, really good at what you're doing, yeah? You're going to have to spend hours and multiple hours for you to understand how, the farm grows, for you to understand how to deal with the feeding when it does come to the chickens, for you to understand how to deal with deaths, because there are different causes of death, different sources of deaths on the farm, and you want to make sure that, you don't mess them up. You can identify what the actual cause of an illness on a farm is. And all this comes as a result of you spending a lot of time. For me, it's been 6 years, yeah? And it's been 6 years of active active involvement, guys. Yeah, I mean, I resigned from my job and I quit medicine in 2020. Yeah, so it's now 2025. Yeah, so let's say 4 years, because 2021, 2022, 2023, 2024, as I'm practicing medicine. Those are 4 years of full dedication. The other 2 years, or let's say 1 year, because it was from 2019, mid 2019, 1.5 years, I was spending almost all my weekends on the farm. Yeah, when I'm not working as a doctor, all the rest of the time I was spending on the farm. So I was spending a lot of time learning, getting all this information, getting all this knowledge, getting all these tricks. And so it requires a lot of time for you to pile up skills. Yeah. Now, unfortunately, for a lot of people, if you decide that you're going to be doing very many things at the same time, what you're going to be doing is that you're doing a lot of things, but you're not gathering any proper skills that require you to focus and grow that thing really well. Yeah, I mean, if someone asks me right now about piggery, I don't know a lot about piggery. Yeah, there are people I lead them too. If someone asks me a lot about cattle, I know a bit about cattle, because I mean, I do them, but I mean, not too much. Yeah, it's not too much. I know quite an amount about goats, but again, I wouldn't say it's as much as I know about chickens, because for me, the chickens is like my golden goose, and it's why I pay a lot of the attention. Now, if I decided in the same time to focus on all those 5 things, for the 5 years of knowledge that I've perfected through poultry, I could say if I'd done very many things, I would probably have had maybe 1 or 2 years of the knowledge in 5 years that I could have acquired by simply focusing on one thing. Yeah? When you do get the skills and the knowledge, the second thing that time gives you and focus on one thing gives you is that you get opportunities. You get opened up to multiple opportunities. Yeah. Now me, because I've been dealing in poultry for so long and I've had to deal in it for so long while focusing on it, I have a lot of connections when it does come to poultry. You understand? If I need to get chicks from somewhere, or if I need to get this, I need to get this medicine, I need to get this, I kind of know people everywhere. If I want to, for example, sell my product, whether it is eggs, whether it is chicken, whether it is chicks, everything, I have connections. If vaccines disappear from the market and I need a particular vaccine, I know right where to go. Why? Because I have focused on the chickens, and because of that, I have gotten connections. Also, it's because of the time. Yeah, that's the advantage of spending a lot of time in something. Yeah, when you spend a lot of time doing something, inevitably you get a lot of this exposure. Yeah, so time helps you develop the skills, but it also helps you develop the opportunities, the right opportunities that you're going to need. Yeah, I mean, for you to become wealthy, for you to become rich, it's not only about the skills. It's when your skills and knowledge now meet the right opportunities. And you meet the right opportunities by being outside there, by being involved in the stuff. And the longer you do it, the better it is, because then you give yourself a better chance of meeting these opportunities. So yes, that's very important. But then, where the biggest mistake comes in for a lot of people is they pay a lot of attention on trying to learn so many things that they never really become good at anything, number one. They never get the opportunity to have this exposure or these connections of anything. And then what ends up happening is that they'll start their farm reaches like 500 birds or 700 birds, and then they'll be like, okay, my farm is big enough. I probably started with like what? With like, let's say 300, I'm now at 500, it's 2 years down the road. They're like, okay, I'm really doing good. Now, let me move on to doing, let's say cattle, or let me move on to doing another business. Maybe start making and selling poultry feed, yeah? That's a big mistake, because you know why? This business growth is exponential. I don't know if you guys know what an exponential growth is, yeah? So with an exponential curve, what usually happens is that the growth at the beginning is really small. It grows, small, and then all of a sudden it just skyrockets, yeah? So at the beginning, it takes quite an amount of time for you to get a bit of growth. But with time, it will take a much shorter time for you to get a lot of growth. You know why? Because of the knowledge and the skills that you've gotten before, it reaches a particular point where time now is not directly proportional to growth, yeah? For example, for me, when I was starting out, it probably took me, I don't know, let's say 3 years for me to make $2,000 every month from the farm, yeah? 3 years. But then, over the next 3 years, you grow from $2,000 to $10,000. That's what they call exponential growth. The next 10 years could probably be $50,000, and that's what they call exponential growth. Yeah, so in the beginning you need a lot of time to gather the skills, gather all these things. During that time you don't see a lot of the results, which is the output, because there's a lot of input, there's a lot of learning, there's a lot of getting skills, there's a lot of doing all this stuff. Yeah, but after you've done that, over time you're going to see all these results, and then when you start doing and seeing all these results, then you can get that money out and do a lot of other things. Yeah, so while putting all your eggs in one basket might work for, you know, some things probably when you're walking around and everything, it doesn't work in business. Yeah, in business it's about risk. Yeah, so of course before you start that business, before you start putting that money and everything all inside there, you want to make sure that you've studied very well, that you understand the risk of the business, and that, you know, it's not something that's going to crash immediately. For me, for example, when it does come to poultry farming, it's not something that's going to crash, because I mean, people need eggs every day. Now, of course, we might have a bad flu that comes around, or chicken feed might get too expensive, or a COVID or something like that, and the farm, you know, goes down, it slips a bit. But I mean, as soon as everything gets back, people are still going to want eggs. Yeah, unless, I don't know, God wakes up someday and he says there are no more eggs in the universe and people should never want eggs. But that's going to keep happening. People are going to keep wanting chickens, yeah? So it's not something that's, you know, of low risk, and I mean, people are eating the eggs everywhere. Now, of course, it's high risk because chickens can easily die and things like that, but that's where the advantage of knowledge and time and learning all these things comes in, yeah? For me, right now, who is running this farm, it's much, much lower risk compared to someone who is starting their farm right now, because they don't have the knowledge, they don't have the skills, they don't know how to deal with particular problems. For them, it's a much higher risk. For me, the risk is so tiny because I have gotten the knowledge, I've gotten the skills. That's why it's important for you to focus on one thing, yeah? You get that advantage that a lot of other people don't. A lot of other people will just start a lot of different things, and what happens is that when you start a lot of different things, you spend a lot of time on that initial phase, yeah, where you don't have exponential growth, where you have very small, tiny growth. You spend a lot of time there because for you, it's taking you a lot of time, much longer, to get the skills, the knowledge, the exposure, the opportunities. It's going to take you much longer. And what's going to happen is that you're going to spend a lot of time in a lot of businesses at this level. So with the piggery farm, you'll be at this level. With the chicken farm, you'll be at this level. With that matoke plantation, you'll be at this level. Yeah. The advantage with doing this is that if you focus on one thing, you're going to get at that point, you take first of all a much shorter time in that initial phase of, you know, slow growth. And then when you grow exponentially, you're going to have enough money. And what enough money does is that it gives you leverage. Yeah. It buys you scale. Yeah. So now when you do decide, for example, to start another kind of farm, or let's say another business, for example, I'm deciding to go into, let's say, tourism. Yeah. And I decide, you know, to be doing hotels and everything. I don't need to learn everything from the hotel business from scratch. Yeah, if it was my first business, well, I can. But now I don't need to learn everything from scratch because I do have the money to pay someone who knows everything, someone who has, you know, spent a lot of time, they have spent a lot of money learning everything. Now I can pay them, yeah, probably I can pay them, let's say, I don't know, $5,000 a month, $10,000 a month for them to do the things that would have taken me 5 years to learn. And what that means is that as soon as I start the business, it's skyrocketing, yeah? For it, its exponential growth won't be slow. Probably it will also need time because it needs exposure, you know, for opportunities, for people to get to know about it. But it's not going to make the mistakes of, you know, not understanding how to run around the business, because the person who is running it has been exposed, they have the skill, they have the knowledge, and they have all these things, yeah? So that's why it's really important, yeah? So when you're starting all those things, you now have the money, everything else can grow exponentially. So that's the advantage of having knowledge. That's the advantage of having skill. That's the advantage of understanding what it means to focus, the advantage of focus. I hope you guys have, you know, enjoyed the video. And you know, if you do want to start a poultry farm and you want to get all this knowledge base that personally has taken me a lot of years, you know, over 5 years for me to put together, get all this knowledge, experience and skills so that I don't lose money, I've put all that in a package which is called the Farm Up Academy. I'll leave a link to the description of the Farm Up Academy. I mean, for the cost of the Farm Up Academy, the cost is a very minimal thing compared to all the time that I have gotten and learned to make sure that you know, avoid these mistakes. Yeah, you can check it below in the description of this video, and see you very soon in the Farm Up Academy. I'll be teaching you how to start and grow your own poultry farm and make thousands of dollars. Catch you very soon with another video. Lots of love. Bye bye.